There's just no room, but thank you very much. We'll say more tomorrow about the UMA folks and all it's great here, but let's move right along. I remind everybody that this is being streamed by YouTube and therefore speak into the microphones directly. And today, the agenda item today is to hear about UMA, and we are very pleased to see such a crowd here and to welcome President Zekas to show us the way. And there he is. Ta-da! Oh, we forgot the drum roll. I'm very sorry.
Or rim shot. Yeah. So thank you, Chair Riley, Chancellor Malloy, members of the Board of Trustees. Welcome to UMA. A true hallmark and strength of any university is a willingness, a commitment to embrace varied perspectives and ideas. UMA is a 6-decade story of valuing differences that make us stronger. We have understood the concept of diversity and inclusion since our founding, with a mission to support a wide array of students that have unfolded over the last 58 years. Academia has survived for hundreds, even thousands of years because of this key value. And while the gears of academia aren't always the fastest, they turn with purpose after considering many views. I believe UMA has embraced being a university that has a clear sense of purpose. And although you will hear about our distance education mission, our commitment to non-traditional students, UMA has strived to integrate many of the essential parts of traditional university structures. Teaching and learning at UMA are also done in person, on campus, at one of our 8 centers, dozens of course receive sites, often with blended modalities, providing UMA students significant flexibility and access. This approach to broad access to public higher education is integral to our success and to meeting our statewide mission. Our ability to be nimble, to adapt to workforce needs, coupled with our commitment to the arts, humanities, and sciences in creating an educated citizenry for the state of Maine remains strong. Just 2 examples to give you is that our art program. So in addition to drawing, ceramics, and sculptures, we're also leveraging their expertise in areas of advancing in data visualization and game design. Nursing, which is an embodiment of a face-to-face program. UMA's nursing program is utilizing technology to meet a distance mission, 4 rural centers statewide, including a cohort at the University of Maine at Farmington's campus. This program is addressing critical state workforce needs where they are needed. Recently, I was reading a book on the fundamentals of the physical world: atoms, quarks, black holes, gravitational waves, strong and weak forces, which is an indication I probably need to get out more. But one of the concepts that I came from that book was the notion of complementarity. And I'm quoting, complementarity is in the most basic form is the concept that one single thing, when considered from different perspectives, can seem to have very different or even contradictory properties. An example is light can behave both as a particle and a wave, but is just light. So I see UMA as an institution of complementarity. Our modalities are distance and on-site. We serve traditional and non-traditional students. Our commitment is to STEM and the arts and the humanities. We are a commuter campus, and we have residential options. We have campuses, we have centers. We have regional and statewide missions. We benefit from both full-time and adjunct faculty, provide on-site and remote work options for our staff, and those starting right out of high school, and those finishing a degree later. So whether it be providing attention to the entire continuum of higher education, from early college to graduate degrees, to providing second chances for our justice-impacted students through our prison education program, to empowering women and under-resourced groups through the good work of New Ventures Maine, all of these showcase UMA's agility to provide an impactful role in the state. Our commitment to unified accreditation remains foremost in the delivery and development of academic programs. I'm proud of the partnerships that we have established through the University of Maine system in medical laboratory technology, nursing, cybersecurity, substance use disorder, even housing some UMA students on other campuses. We continue to look for win-win opportunities that benefit students and augment collaboration and unified accreditation. What I hope you take away from the following presentations from selected faculty, staff, students, alumni, and community partners is that UMA is a story of differences and diversity, and we wouldn't want it any other way, which we call the UMA way. We are proud to meet our students where they are and take them to where they dream to go. Thank you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Patrick Cheek, Assistant Professor of Psychology and UMA's Faculty Rep to the Board of Trustees. The work of our faculty and staff embodies UMA's mission to transform the lives of students of every age and background. Across UMA's history, our teaching modalities and student population have defied tradition. Every semester, I teach students from across the lifespan and from many walks of life, from early college students, out-of-state students, veterans, students on active military duty, prison residents, all the way to retirement-aged individuals restarting their education. Throughout my time at UMA, I found that even among traditionally aged students, many are working full-time, are parents, caregivers to aging relatives, and navigating many intersecting life challenges. Although I now work to fulfill UMA's mission as a member of its faculty, I'm also a product of its mission. I graduated from UMA in 2007 with a BA in social science. As a first-generation college student, I never thought I would go to college. In high school, I didn't have good grades, never talked with a guidance counselor about my college prospects, and never toured a college campus. My college journey started by showing up at the front desk of UMA and asking if I could go to school here. My education and seemingly small interactions with my professors had a lasting and cumulative impact on my life. My mentors and professors at UMA are now my colleagues and friends. My transformation has come full circle. Tonight's presentation will demonstrate the importance of UMA's mission. It will highlight the diverse backgrounds of our students, our diverse learning modalities, and our high-quality professional and liberal arts programs. My hope is that tonight's presentation will not only highlight the work we do, but the impact we have on our communities, both near and far. Thank you.
This is my classroom.
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 And this is my classroom.
This is my classroom.
This is my classroom.
And this is my classroom.
This is my classroom.
I wanted to say thank you to UMA for partnering with FAA to host our Droning On New England event in September of last year. UMA is an FAA-approved unmanned aircraft systems collegiate training initiative school. This distinction strengthens the collaborative working relationship between UMA, FAA, industry, local government, law enforcement, and regional economic development entities to address labor workforce needs. UMA is one of only 2 schools in New England with this distinction and the only school in Maine. We chose to partner with UMA because of this strong relationship, and I knew we wouldn't be disappointed. I was extremely happy with how our 3-day event went, from attendance and logistics to the UMA facility at Brunswick Executive Airport. I continue to be impressed by Dan LeClaire's commitment to aviation and UAS education. I know Dan and his team put in many hours working with us to plan the event, and I so appreciate that commitment and the school's support of Dan. Availability of educational opportunities are critical to the future of the aviation workforce, and UMA is leading the way. We had presenters and attendees travel from all 6 New England states to participate in this outreach event. Our goal was to highlight the societal, economic, and educational benefits of drones through a series of activities focusing on different audiences: students and educators, public safety officials, and the general public. The event was a great learning experience and a wonderful opportunity to make new connections in the New England drone community. It's been several years since an event such as this has been held in the region, and the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. We couldn't have done it without UMA. Thank you.
What makes UMA distinctive for us at VZVet and all the veterinary clinics in the area is that they produce graduates of their vet tech program that are immediately ready to come and work in our hospitals. So they have both the book knowledge and the training in their live labs, so they have hands-on skills and are ready to come into our hospitals and be a valuable member of our team. UMA is really having a significant impact, not only on the greater Bangor area, but all of this area of Maine. As veterinarians, we need trained assistants. At our hospital, we actually have 5 vet techs for each veterinarian. So there's 5 veterinarians, we have 20 to 25 technicians at any time. UMA is providing those skilled technicians to our area and to our community with a new graduating class every single year.
We've had a very positive relationship with UMA, and I believe what makes it distinctive in that relationship is the coordination with programs. So our program has been able to coordinate with very specific programs such as the DEI Council and the Vault Tutors, which has created a significant interplay that has benefited both literacy volunteer tutors and UMA staff and students. UMA makes a significant difference in our region. Our program covers Kennebec County, and we have had tutors from UMA that have supported learners in our community, helped individuals as far as gaining employment skills, as far as developing confidence in their educational goals and attaining their goals, and has also allowed and supported the statewide coalition of literacy volunteer programs, and as stated before, coordinated with us statewide training over a 6-month period for Vault tutors and for literacy volunteer tutors that allowed a lot of interactive learning and shared skill building.
What I love about the center is they are incredibly student-centric. They really meet students where they are at. So if a student wants full-time or part-time educational opportunities, remote or in person, the centers start with what's best for the students and build their programs around that. What I find most impressive about UMA and the centers is really both the range and the relevance of their academic programming. They certainly have traditional courses of study, but they seem to continue to evolve well to provide the types of educational opportunities that today's students and today's companies are looking for, such as cybersecurity, data management, etc. So continuously honing what they're offering to be as relevant as possible is commendable. UMA and the centers really fill an important niche in our local economy that no other educational facilities provide. Mainers are busy, and being able to provide opportunities for them to continue to grow in their careers, regardless of their age or their past educational experience, is a unique capability that they bring to the Biddeford and Saco area that no other educational facility fulfills.
UMA is making a big splash in the aviation world here in the Brunswick region and the state. They are connecting with businesses and students in all grades and finding ways to meet their needs and open their eyes to the great opportunities within the aviation and aerospace industry right here in Maine. They are solving problems and creating career pathways. UMA is also getting the region on the map. Most recently, they hosted the FAA's New England regional event called Droning On, which was a 3-day event that attracted a couple hundred people from many different occupational industries, and they met right here at the Brunswick Landing in Hangar 6. UMA takes the time to research what the workforce gaps are in both the aviation and aerospace industries, and creates programs that train a workforce that main aviation companies can thrive and grow. One of the big things was the online learning, and you guys are experts at training remotely. And I remember talking with Dan LeClaire during the pandemic when everyone was trying to figure out how best to do online learning. And he said, we've been doing online learning for years. This is not new to us, and we've got this. And this kind of ties into another program that we've been looking at is the Aviation Maintenance Technician School. As many of you know, Maine is one of only 3 states that does not have an AMTS, even though there is a high demand for aviation technicians, both manned and unmanned systems technicians. So I've been working with Dan for several years trying to get the school up and running. And I'll do a little aside that Dan is terrific to work with. He's intelligent. He's so knowledgeable about the aviation industry. He's a creative thinker, and he's calm no matter what's going on. So I can't say enough about Dan's leadership in the aviation department.
I've been in law enforcement for just a few years, coming up on finishing my 28th. And I would say that over my 28 years in law enforcement, the first 21 of which was spent in the city of Waterville, University of Maine Augusta has been a constant in our profession when it relates to providing education, training, collaboration between the world of academia and the profession of law enforcement to try to make our folks better at what they do. You know, I've been to campus many times to take part in programming that was set up by faculty and staff on UMA for the law enforcement community. When I was actually working on my master's degree, some of my classes that I took were actually held at UMA. And so the campus there has been sort of a central feature in my life over the last nearly 3 decades. And I think they've done a great job in helping to educate and prepare the future ranks of law enforcement, and also keeping those of us that have been in it for a little while up to date on our skills. I've been working with Noel March, the director of the Community Policing Institute, to partner with the Maine Chiefs of Police Association on a training around ethical decision making. And I think the UMA is partnering with the Holocaust Museum to bring this program up. And so eventually what's going to happen is there's going to be a big group of people there. There's going to be law enforcement professionals, many chiefs like myself. I'm assuming students from the college and others that come together to learn this material. And by doing so, we help educate ourselves, make ourselves better leaders, help to, you know, I think enhance the professionalism, ethical decision making in our own departments and the profession at large. And these types of collaborations and these types of partnerships, the importance of them really cannot be overstated. And so I'm excited that you have leadership there that's looking forward to doing that, and we absolutely want to be working with you moving forward and getting all that done.
Monmouth Academy really enjoys working with UMA. Since I've been in my position as the school counselor here, which has been, I think, 7 years now, for any early college stuff, we've always kind of worked with UMA, and they were actually one of the first schools that our teachers were able to do dual enrollment courses with. So that's kind of been like a partnership that we've had the entire time that I've worked here. One of the things that I really enjoy over the last 7 years is I started really trying to push my students to enroll in the early college courses, and one of them in particular has been the Intro to Psychology, because that's really kind of in every academic program when students go to college, and a lot of my students want to participate in courses that would be in their programming when they go. One of my teachers here is a faculty of UMA, and so we kind of know some of the instructors and, you know, what they're like and how they work with students, and that helps me place my students appropriately. So we just have a lot of knowledge of kind of some of the ins and outs of UMA. So it works great for my kids when they know, you know, they're kind of somewhat being vetted into a class, or we've had kids that have success, or we know the instructor or anything like that. But yeah, being able to access those credits for sure, and the psychology, that's worked out great.
Greetings, Board of Trustees. My name is Jennifer Riggs, and I'm the Chief Nursing Officer for Maine General Health. UMA is a trusted mainstay of our community and the greater Kennebec Valley region, educating our local communities and creating the civic leaders of tomorrow. As the largest employer in Central Maine, we have had the pleasure of partnering with UMA on several initiatives to support growth. Currently, Maine General is partnering to hire clinical instructors to support the growth and expansion in the nursing program. We believe that partnerships like ours between higher education and community organizations are mutually beneficial, not only to our two organizations, but to the surrounding communities by promoting civic engagement, providing service and mentoring opportunities, and cultivating leadership. As we work to address workforce needs in Maine and across the country, partnerships between universities and private organizations will be essential, and we are excited about current and future opportunities to partner with UMA.
Good evening, Chancellor Malloy, President Zakas, members of the Board of Trustees and Board of Visitors. It's a pleasure to be with you here today, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak about the significant benefits and the successes of the University of Maine work in the Maine Department of Corrections. We've had 104 individuals graduate with associate degree and bachelor's degrees with the Maine Department of Corrections and UMA in the embed. It's been absolutely transformational for those individuals that have been involved. We started 20 years ago, and we started small and we began to grow over time. We had external funding by Doris Buffett, generous $2 million contribution. In 2015, we were able to be a second chance Pell Grant demonstration site. That went very, very well. UMA has been profound in the transformation of many of my residents. As many of you know, nationally, we have about a 65% recidivism rate or return to custody rate. And when individuals from the Maine Department of Corrections participate and graduate from the University of Maine at Augusta, it's about 5%. And that's important for me to relay to you because, the Maine Department of Corrections provides public safety through addressing individuals' needs. And often those needs are lack of education or need to enhance their education. And that's how we make our community safer. And so not only does it impact the individuals that have been that have received the degrees while in my custody, but it also impacts their families, their parents, their children. And so I think that it has a multi-generational impact on all of our communities. And I can't say enough about the quality of the instruction, the dedication of the professors, the effectiveness, the flexibility. And the UMA had a profound impact during COVID with their enhanced technology. It made all the difference. And so I'm just here this evening to tell you that I deeply appreciate the work that UMA is doing. It's truly been transformational for the individuals in my care. Thank you.
Next, we'll transition to a few in-person speakers. So I'm just going to have them come up one at a time. So first we'll hear from Eric and then Chad. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. My name is Eric Stark. I'm a professor of architecture and I'm an architecture program coordinator for the past 12 years. Architecture has been at UMA since 1987, but most recently and today we are the only Bachelor of Architecture degree, the only professionally accredited degree in the state of Maine, and we're the only public 5-year in all of New England. This past fall, we were granted an 8-year term of continuing accreditation with what is called a clean report, which means we met all of the administrative, physical, and pedagogical requirements set out by our accreditors. We are only one of 2 universities in the United States that has achieved this rare status. Our mission, we engage architecture. Our students and faculty, we want them to be active participants in the exploration and study of the built environment. That mission is built on 3 tenets: small, integrated, hands-on. We are small. We leverage that small size. We're usually about 50, 55 students, 3 full-time faculty members and a host of part-time faculty. But that small size allows us to be flexible and allows us to teach to the individual student and not just the subject. Integrated. We actively connect our design studio courses with other related courses, things like representation, sustainability, construction. This better mirrors the collaborative nature of architecture that our students upon graduation will join. Hands-on, we believe making is knowing, and have created a program of active learning through engagement, teaching our students to make, test, and explore architectural ideas. One thread that exemplifies our mission and our core tenets is our community design work. Over the past 10 years, we have worked on more than 30 community projects. Currently, our students are working with the Old Red Church, a historical museum in Standish, Maine, to explore the possibility of constructing an accessory building to house their administrative functions and a large meeting space. They're actually presenting that work to the community tomorrow morning. This imbues our students with the responsibility of giving back to their communities through their chosen profession. And in the end, that's really our goal, is to put new professionals out there who understand that we, as architects, we change the built environment for the better. Thank you very much. Enjoy your evening, and I wish you productive meetings tomorrow.
Good evening, Chad Morris, President of Maine Instrument Flight. Patrick, thanks for the introduction. And big thank you to, she just went and sat down, but Dean McAleer and Greg Jolda. So if you don't know Greg Jolda yet, you need to make sure you meet him tonight and have a conversation with him. His passion for aviation is infectious, and his vision for this cutting edge flight program that he's building with our partnership through MIF, thank you very much, it just fuels that fire even more. Okay, a couple things about myself. I'm a pilot first. Well, I like to think I'm a pilot first and a businessman second. Unfortunately, that means if I talk anything aviation tonight, I'm going to be up here all night. And Brenda asked me to keep it under 2 minutes. So I'll just speak to the business side of things instead. Maine Instrument Flight has been around since 1946. That's a very long time, especially in this New England community. I think there's a lot of history everywhere, as you all know. But there's not many flight schools in the country that can say something along those lines. I believe it's the oldest flight school in the entire country. So, you know, we have a lot of history, but this relationship with UMA has only been around since 2013. So 10 years now. And I can tell you the last 5 years have been amazing for Maine Instrument Flight from a business perspective, but also for all the students that we've trained through the UMA program that are now out there as flying airlines, flying, you know, some of the regionals around here. And I think a couple of them have now made it to the bigger major airlines already. And that all started because the vision that UMA had, along with MIF, to start this 4-year degree program. If you don't know, there's projected to be a huge pilot deficit. There already is a huge pilot deficit, and you're seeing it all across the industry already. If you try to book an airline flight today, it's getting harder and harder with more and more cancellations. The last statistics I saw showed we need to train 15,000 pilots each year. We're only projected to train about 7,000 to 8,000 this year. And that's across the country. That's not just here in New England, of course. But through this partnership with UMA, we're now able to reach across the country to bring in students to this, what used to be a very small flight school located up here in Augusta, Maine. We have huge plans for expansion. We want to grow this program into something that is recognized nationally. And that's going to help allow us to, you know, through this 4-year degree program and cutting edge aviation program, we're going to train the pilots that are going to fill that need. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jennifer Davis, and I'm the Dean of Students here at UMA. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening. I'd like to say a few words about the impact UMA has on our students. UMA's mission to provide high-quality, accessible education to a highly diverse student body is one of the hallmarks of the work we do at UMA. You're about to see a video, or see in videos created by UMA students. It's UMA's accessibility, flexibility in course modality, residence life options, opportunities for student engagement, and high-quality academic programs that draw so many students to UMA. Once enrolled at UMA, students deeply value our tight-knit community, engaged and talented faculty, and devoted student services support staff. UMA students frequently note the transformative nature of their academic and co-curricular experience at UMA and are clear about the very high value they place on their university experience and the educational and professional opportunities their time at UMA affords them.
Thank you for this opportunity. 3.5 years ago or so, I decided I was really looking for a lost love. Didn't really know what I was going to find, but music had been a big part of me, and I had stepped away from it for an injury 40 or so years ago. So I looked for an online university that could really connect me with the core values and the core tenets of music. And I got a wonderful welcoming call, had conversations with both Anita and Christine that were instrumental in me really deciding that UMA was definitely the place that I needed to be. And I can tell you that it's been a truly success for me. The professors have been, the fact that the professors are professional musicians, tremendous plus for me. Then to find out that so many of the students were adult students that were already professional musicians, and I was able to really learn from them and really develop a cadre, a group of people that I could go with, has just been a wonderful part of the whole process. Obviously, I'm much older than most all the students, but it's really, I've really been accepted wonderfully. And I will tell you, the intimacy of the knowledge and the friendships that have developed really helped me to understand what Christine told me years ago, which was you can try to music, but music will never give up on you. And it really hasn't. And I really feel like I feel like the future holds for me much more involvement with music and really a love that I was looking to rekindle, and it certainly has. And I really want to thank UMA.
What really made me want to choose UMA to pursue my educational goals was primarily like the connection you get with your teachers, like all your professors, your advisors, your entire support staff, because it never really stops. I mean, I still am in contact with professors I had my freshman year, and like I haven't even taken another one of their classes yet. It's the connection that they want to have to your learning is just so important to me. I just appreciate that the faculty here really give you an opportunity to not just improve yourself, but also kind of improve the university as well, where if you have an idea on how to make something better, or maybe you have a different perspective that can kind of maybe aid the learning process, it really is just so accepted that they want you to succeed.
One of the things that made me choose UMA, if I'm being completely honest, I had to apply to a college in every state, every New England state, I should say. And my father knows someone that came here. And so I was just kind of like, okay, I'll apply. It's free to apply, so why not? I ended up getting in. I really wanted to go to Boston. So it was kind of a toss-up between here and Boston. And just looking at the nursing program, it was a much smaller school here. You're not just a number in a big auditorium for a classroom. And I think that's what really drew me here, as well as the dorms, the not so city style life. I think I really would have hated that if I went to Boston. So obviously I'm very happy I came up here. And I think the most meaningful thing that's happened at UMA and why I love it so much here is because it's that small community. We don't have a lot of people specifically in the nursing program, and so my professors all know me by name. I'm not just some kid in their health assessment class that, has a certain grade and, is the one that's always emailing them. They can sit there and they can have a conversation with me and not have to worry about the 12 million other things, although I'm sure they have 12 million other things, but they take that time. And put into perspective, last semester, I lost my aunt the week before finals. And as soon as I found out, I emailed my professor and she's like, absolutely, we can move it. She's like, I don't want you to take this final, while you're suffering that loss or grieving that loss. And so we can move it, It's just they really try to help you and they push you to what they know you can do, but they also will help you take a step back and say, okay, is this really the best thing for you? And I really love that about UMA, but specifically the nursing program. They really focus on that.
I chose UMA because it's the only accredited 5-year architecture degree, I believe, in all of New England. And the fact that it was in Maine helped me out because I'm obviously a Maine resident. So it was good for financial aid. It was good for not being super far from home. It was also nice because I've already been to Augusta and I've been to like this sort of region, so I was familiar with it. And like I said, it was mostly the fact that it had a degree that I could go into without having to go out of state. Something that UMA does well that I am a big fan of was I applied to 2 other schools out of state. Both of them were in New York and I would have had to live alone. So the dorms, more so apartments, I guess, are very helpful. It kind of helps me stay grounded without having to deal with the fact that my family is like 4 hours north of here. And the faculty, the great staff that UMA has, especially for my major, it has a good ratio between student to faculty. I feel like they're there if I ever need help or anything.
So I chose UMA for many reasons. One was the price was very affordable, and it was one of the few places at the time that was offering actual music degrees. As I'm in the military bomb squad, so I need something online in order to facilitate my education, and UMA provided it at a great price. So that's really the reason I was wanting to get further education, and UMA offered everything I could have wanted and more so far. So UMA is different than other schools that I've been to, and in a lot of ways this is my first time to pursue a music degree, even though I've been in music for several years. What really stands out to me is the counselors and the teachers. The counselors, I've never seen counselors that have been just so willing to go out of their way to facilitate changes you have to make or give you information to kind of educate you on what would be better for your progress in school. And then the teachers, there's definitely, you could see the love they have for what they're teaching and the knowledge that they have for what they're teaching as well. And it makes you as a student want to do better, want to be better, and want to learn the classes. A lot of times when you take classes, that aren't something you'd normally be interested in, and you kind of just go through the motions. But because of the way that teachers, professors have been instructing, there's several classes that I would have probably not been interested in, but because of the way they teach the class, it's become something that's made me grow as a person and made me do things that I wouldn't have normally done, but now I love to do them.
Thank you. So now it's my pleasure to introduce one of our current students. Jen Christensen transferred to UMA from a small private college in another state. Jen moved into our residence hall at Stevens Commons, and since that time has grown into the role of a very important student leader. Jen is currently our lead community advisor, is actively involved in creating programming for our residents' life programs, is employed in our Office of Student Life, and is serving as an alternate on the UMA Presidential Search Committee. Jen is well respected by her professors, peers, and UMA staff, and is described as kind, compassionate, and creative. Jen graduates this spring with a degree in criminal justice pre-law and will be attending Maine Law in the fall. Jen?
Good evening. I've been asked to share a bit about what brought me to UMA, but as a student who chose to pack up and leave her old school when it felt wrong, I'd prefer to talk to you today about why UMA felt right. Of the 18 schools I applied to 4 years ago, UMA was not one of them. However, once winter break came around my sophomore year at St. Anselm College, with no end of the pandemic in sight and no clear vision of what I wanted to study, a state school near home made sense. On January 1st, 2021, I decided to apply to UMA. By January 16th, I had been accepted, registered for classes, and moved into my new home in Stevens Commons. Sometimes I look back on that leap of faith and question how everything fell into place just so neatly. This was thanks to the faculty and staff here who make sure all students are seen and heard, regardless of whether they are clocked in or clocked out, on break or in the office. At my old school, it wasn't like that. My classmates and I competed against one another for tutors, advisors, office hours, grants, and space in the residence halls because there were just too many of us and not enough of them. There were many promises my previous school made to me yet failed to fulfill. In the first month of my time here, though, I witnessed firsthand the execution of all of the promises my old school had once made to me. The activities, academic resources, counseling opportunities, and close-knit community, it was all here. Despite having a fully remote course load, I encountered support that was more present than ever before. Here at UMA, I am seen. Here I am heard. Here I found a community who believed in my dreams before I even believed in them myself. When I arrived at UMA, I had no idea where I was going. As I now face a similar crossroads, I have a similar level of uncertainty. Still, I know that wherever I choose to go, the tools and community that I found here will make sure that I get there. Thank you.
And now it's my pleasure to introduce you to Gwen Bedell-Gadbois, a very special individual who will provide an alumni and faculty perspective. Gwen began her relationship to UMA as a non-traditional student who took almost all of her courses at our UMA Saco Center or online. Since that time, Gwen has earned her bachelor's degree in business administration from UMA, certification as a public accountant, and a master's degree. Gwen began her time teaching at UMA as an adjunct in 2011 and was hired as full-time faculty in the fall of 22. Gwen?
Thank you for that intro. You covered a lot of my speech, so I guess we'll try to redact a little bit of that. I wanted to start by thanking you for the opportunity tonight to come up and speak with you about what an impact UMA has had on my life. I'll try not to cry. Brenda, doing my best. Okay, so I want to start with a quote from C.S. Lewis. He said, "You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending." So my journey to UMA was not unlike many other non-traditional students. Although I had always planned to go to college right out of high school, family and economic obstacles prevented that. I entered the workforce, and after several years of going to school at night, on weekends, and online to earn my associate's degree at a local community college. After that, I was blessed with 2 wonderful children and knew that to be the best mom I could be, I needed to go back and get my bachelor's degree, and at the same time, never losing sight of my dream to become a CPA. In the fall of 2006, I took my very first course at UMA online, and it was tough. It was very tough. I was working full-time, commuting, raising 2 kids, studying late at night, and getting up at 4 a.m. to hit the books again. Well, with each class I completed, I became more and more excited about my future and the impact it would have on my children. So 3 years later, and after only coming on campus once the entire time, completed my bachelor's degree in business administration and also earned my certified fraud examiner credential at the same time. Shortly thereafter, went through the CPA exam and passed that as well. What I found was that success breeds success. And so after that came wonderful opportunities to work as a CFO in very large organizations throughout the state of Maine. and I thought I'd arrived, but something was still missing. It was that love of learning. So back to school I go. Earned my master's degree in accounting, and with that, more career growth and prosperity for my family. What I learned during this time was that how much I loved accounting, how much it could change an organization and transform it, and how much I get joy from teaching others about accounting. So in the fall of 2022, I joined UMA as a full-time faculty member. I have the best job in the world. I work with students of all ages and all abilities all around the country, teaching them the rules of accounting, hopefully inspiring a few to become CPAs themselves, and at the same time, never losing focus of why you are here and that you must never give up. And so yes, school, work, and family, they are all very hard, but they are also the most rewarding jobs you'll ever do in your life. To that end, I found myself back yet in school again, working on a doctorate in accounting. None of this would have been possible without my journey here at UMA. And so while it's true you can't change the beginning, you can change the ending. UMA was the change I sought for myself, for my family, and for their futures. Thank you.
And now our final speaker for the evening, Dick Thompson.
Maybe I need to get my breath a little bit. That was exceptional. And so good evening, Chancellor Malloy, Chairperson Riley. I haven't seen you in such a long time. It's my pleasure to be here with all of you, the trustees and others, friends. I am, as was announced, Dick Thompson, and I'm chair of the UMA Board of Visitors. I'm joined tonight by Tom Keller and Shanna Bellows. They're here, and I hope you'll look them up and talk with them. They have so much to offer about what's happening here at UMA and our role in providing advice to President Zakis and others. And my BOV colleagues and I welcome you to the Augusta campus of UMA. And I say Augusta campus because we know there's Bangor and all the centers and so many things that this organization has to offer. And we thank you for coming here to experience what makes UMA special. We are excited for the future. And while the times due to COVID and challenging economy have been disruptive, the leadership, faculty, and students here at UMA continue to succeed, and you just heard it, with hard work and perseverance. We are proud of what's happening here. It has been a while since the board meeting has been held on this campus, and we are very happy to see you. For those members who have visited campus, and for those system leaders who have been on or visited our campus, you've seen the continual changes and improvements. This is a welcoming and functioning learning space. It's for traditional students, non-traditional students, and especially to support veterans. The BOV sees these changes too and applaud Interim President Zakis for his hard work and advocacy on behalf of UMA. He is surrounded by excellent leaders that join him at our meetings, providing information and seeking feedback on the budget, programs, and other topics and activities that are of interest to the members and to the students that attend here. We can provide honest and valuable feedback, and we're given that opportunity. I've had a chance to talk with some faculty members and participate in select events and reviews. In fact, I was pleased to see Patrick here. He and I serve on the Literacy Volunteers Board of Kennebec. I was equally surprised I hadn't heard that Virginia Mariner, our executive director, was going to present to you tonight. So it was a pleasure to see that. We take literacy very seriously. But in my interaction with faculty, I find them passionate about their work and about their students and about UMA. My view is they provide a high quality learning environment for our non-traditional and traditional students We are proud of the range of students we serve and to the options, both geographically and through distance, that make UMA what it is today. I trust your tour of the campus and the information you received about our programs gives you an understanding of the broad range of options available to students, ones that can lead immediately to careers. This is good for them and for the economy. Whether it's aviation-related programs, and I'll work on that, President Rice, to see if we can't catch up in the plane. Whether it's aviation-related programs, architecture, music, arts, nursing, veterinary technician programs, and so many others designed to contribute to the overall economy and the well-being of our students and the citizens of Maine. Faculty preparing our students for good jobs right here in Maine. And the future seems bright to us too. UMA BOV is smaller in numbers than it should be, but we are well represented by Jennifer Riggs, Chief Nursing Officer of Maine General Medical Center. You met her tonight. She's the Vice Chair. Tom Keller is the founder and director of STEM Education Strategies, and he's on the State Board of Education. We have Maine's Secretary of State, Jenna Bellows, and she's here. It's wonderful to have her as part of our group. Commissioner of the Maine Department of Labor, Laura Fortman's also a member. And last but certainly not least, Commissioner Randall Liberty of the Maine Department of Corrections. We are so lucky to have these people on our BOV. We also know we need some diversity and more members to provide the best possible guidance and service to UMA. We encourage you, in fact, to consider 2 nominees to the UMA Board of Visitors that are being presented for approval at tomorrow's board meeting. Of course, like anything, there is much more to be done. One of the most important is to participate in the process to choose a new president. This is so important to the future strength and growth of UMA. The leadership of a good friend to UMA, Roger Cates, is creating confidence with the BOV members, and the participation of other trustees on the selection committee demonstrates the commitment the Board of Trustees and Chancellor have for this search and selection to be successful. Our entire community is watching and anxious for the next chapter to begin. I'll close with a special thank you to Interim President Zakis and his team. They remain committed to UMA and its community in a way that promotes success. And that is what UMA is about. And I believe it. My son, my daughter-in-law, and granddaughter have graduated from UMA. And I couldn't be prouder of them or of UMA for helping them be successful. And again, Brenda, thank you for getting Greg, my son, back on the right track. He was a lot like his father, a little tough to control. In any event, we couldn't be more thankful for this organization. So thank you for being here.
Whoa, that was a whirlwind tour from the skies to the built place and architecture. 65% recidivism rate reduced to 5%. Did I get that right? Wow, pretty impressive. So thank you very, very much. I suspect the board has questions and comments, and we have a few minutes. We have very few minutes, but a few minutes. But it was so wonderful that maybe we should just celebrate it. Anyway, let's do that. Thank you. I guess we have to adjourn, don't we? We need, and do we need a motion, you mean? No, okay. We'll now adjourn to the Cates Library, well named after Roger's dad, Bennett Cates. Thank you all very, very much. That was splendid. It's just splendid. It was very, very informative.